If you are a crypto millionaire, we have helped many crypto millionaires, many aspiring crypto millionaires around the world get second citizenship, second residency. And if you are right now in the US or Canada or in the UK, you're sitting there with one citizenship, you want a plan B. You want a possible protection from taxes, from regulations, from government interference, potential World War III scenario, and planning for that. What are the best countries, best passports you should have? What options do you have around the world to get citizenship? The first thing I would do, if I was in the US, I was just an American, I didn't have any other passports, and I'm thinking, I don't like the way that the US is controlling crypto. I don't like the massive illegal immigration. I don't like the crime is increasing. I don't like the country is going truly to shit. What am I going to do? First of all, I'll look at my family tree. Do I have any grandparents, any parents from another country that could potentially lead to a second passport? In the United States, there's many people with Italian, Irish, Eastern European ancestry where you could potentially get a second passport in 1 year, 2 years, and it's for free. Might as well do it. Even if it's not the best passport, maybe you have ancestry from Africa or from Asia, get that second citizenship. Even if it's a Filipino passport, if you're an American right now and your parents are Filipino, the Filipino passport doesn't really get you into many places, but it's good for Asia. It's good for Spain. Also, because the Philippines used to be a colony of Spain. And overall, you have a second option. You have a second identity that you can use around the world. So that's the first thing I would do. The second thing, if you don't have that option, or if you have that option, but if you want even more options, is citizenship by investment. You can invest into a country, $100,000, $150,000, even $250,000, like in the case of St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts, a very pro-crypto country. They don't accept crypto as a donation for their citizenship, but they don't tax crypto. And I spent $150,000 on this beautiful passport. Now it's $250,000. I would probably recommend something like an Antigua and Barbuda, or Dominica, or Grenada. Other countries that offer citizenship, you can get it for $150,000 in 6 to 8 months. You don't have a criminal record, and you can go through that process pretty smoothly, to be honest. You need a lot of documents. You need, obviously, a police report, apostille. You need your birth certificate, apostille. You need different documents if you've been living in different countries around the world, but pretty straightforward. You pay money, you get citizenship. That's the first thing I would do, just as a plan B. These countries might lose access to the Schengen area. They have lost access to the UK and will lose even more access around the world, but it's just as a second identity, just as another place that you can call home, as another place that doesn't tax you, that doesn't want to confiscate your wealth. Just get it as a plan B. And it's also good to get residency permits around the world on a second passport. If you're an American and you want to go live in Spain or Paraguay or Thailand or anywhere around the world, and you're thinking the perception of Americans around the world is getting worse. America is starting more and more wars. Different countries are being enemies of America. Let me get my residency permit on my St. Kitts passport. Even if it's a Thai elite visa, get it on your St. Kitts passport instead of the American, in case there is a world war, in case there is some invasion, in case there is some problem with America. You always have the residency permit on another passport. That's also a good hack. Now, once you go through citizenship by investment, maybe you don't want to do that, or maybe you don't want to shell out $1 million for Malta. Malta is a beautiful European country. They offer their citizenship by investment, by exception. You have to actually spend time in Malta. You have to commit to the country, and it takes a year and a half at least to get the citizenship and at least $1 million. If you don't see it being worth it, it's also part of the EU. The EU is getting more controlling. It's adding more regulations. It's going downhill as well. You don't want to be part of the EU. You have other options. What I would recommend personally is South America. South America has very easy residency. Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Chile to a certain extent. Argentina, Brazil, great countries to have a child, to get permanent residency. Pretty easy. Now Argentina, with the new president, Javier Milei, I have a lot of hope in Javier Milei. A lot of people say that he's going to become a dictator, or the other way around, he's not going to do anything and the country's just going to go to shit again. I have a lot of hope for Argentina. I think it's going to improve. I think it's going to go back to that era when it was one of the top countries around the world. It's safe, relative to other countries in Latin America. People speak English to a certain extent. They speak more English there than they do in other parts of Latin America. And overall, it's developed enough to live a good quality of life. So definitely Argentina could be a place where you get an investor visa or you get a retirement visa. Pretty straightforward. You can also get citizenship after 2 years in the country. So if you make it your home base for 2 years, you can get the Argentine passport, one of the best in the world. Gives you access to the Schengen area, to the UK, to Russia, to all of South America, obviously with Mercosur. You have access to pretty much any country that you might want to go around the world, and it looks like it's going to be crypto-friendly in the future. They don't harass people for their taxes, and overall in Latin America, there is not this culture of I need to pay taxes because I'm contributing to society. Most people don't pay taxes, and I don't recommend you to not pay taxes illegally, but there's loopholes, there's ways to do it legally, and there's ways to not pay that much tax. And again, the authorities don't harass you for your tax money. So definitely South America, if you're not looking at citizenship by investment, you're looking at more permanent residency, getting a second passport by living some years in a country, South America is a great option, as well as Central America. Obviously, you have El Salvador. If you give them $1 million in USDT or Bitcoin, they will make you a Salvadorian citizen. I don't really think it's worth it. The same way that Malta, $1 million, most people are not going to spend $1 million for Malta. Most people are probably also not going to spend $1 million in El Salvador, unless you are an ultra high net worth individual. You're worth $50 million, $100 million. You're ready to give them $1 million because you see the development in El Salvador. You see that the crime has basically been eradicated. You see that the future is bright for El Salvador. Then we could help you. Have contacts there. We can get you residency in El Salvador, although you have to actually spend time in the country. The citizenship is straightforward. You spend $1 million in Bitcoin, and then you get the Salvadoran passport. Not one of the best in the world, but it gives you that plan B of a country that is heading in the right direction, and in 10, 20 years could be an amazing country to live in. Now, another country that I'm a citizen of, and I talk about it many times, is Mexico. A lot of people think that Mexico is too dangerous, there's too many cartels, but there's plenty of safe places. In Mexico, there's the best neighborhoods of Mexico City, which there's police literally everywhere. They're very cleaned up, they look absolutely beautiful. There's other safe places like Mérida, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta. They're relatively safe. They're safer than most places in the United States. At this point, you're gonna live a beautiful life. The weather is much better. And the citizenship, although it's not super easy to get it, immigration is easy, residency is simple, permanent residency is simple, and then citizenship you get it by just living in the country. They're not gonna harass you for your crypto. They're not gonna harass you for your wealth. I probably wouldn't use the local finance system. I probably wouldn't use the local banks that much. But if you want to buy property, pretty straightforward. You incorporate a trust, and that trust then buys a property, and that trust is hard to unwind. If you're going through a lawsuit or a divorce, the trust is actually a great asset for you. In this case, if you have properties under that trust in Mexico, if you're buying something in Cancun or in Tulum or pretty much anywhere in Mexico, I would say it's one of those countries where crypto investors can be free. There's real freedom in Mexico. There's not restriction. The government isn't trying to control every aspect of your life. The government isn't trying to control your money with CBDCs. You're going to feel free, and you can work towards a second citizenship. And the same thing I would say for Eastern Europe, specifically non-EU. Eastern Europe. Montenegro, although they're joining the EU for now, is a relatively free place. Serbia, although there are high taxes and crypto is taxed, again, the government isn't trying to harass you. The government isn't trying to control your banking, your finances. They're not trying to know everything about your life. So as a crypto investor, you're pretty much going under the radar. I wouldn't put that much money into Serbian banks. They're not the best. They don't treat you the best. I can tell you that from personal experience. You can buy property in Serbia. Serbia overall is improving as a country, is getting more developed. People speak English. Overall, you're going to have a better life with your crypto in Serbia than you do in other woke places around the world. Also Serbia and this large part of Eastern Europe is non-woke. You're not going to see this transgender nonsense or this gender identity nonsense that you see in the West. And then for some honorable mentions around the world, you have Vanuatu, which you can get very easily. Citizenship doesn't get you access to most countries around the world, but it serves as a second identity. Mauritius, if you invest $375,000, you can get permanent residency, far away from everything, great plan B for World War II. And other countries with tax exemptions, like Spain, you have a 5 to 6 year tax exemption, Italy, 15-year tax exemption, and then Greece, a lump sum tax. Although these are pretty woke, pretty Western-leaning countries, you can get a great tax treatment on your crypto, on your capital gains, and you will also enjoy a higher quality of life, better food, better air, better weather, better people, happier people, and overall a better lifestyle than you do in the US and Canada, in the UK. If you're a crypto investor and you're looking for the best countries for crypto investors, for residency, for investing your crypto, for cashing out your crypto, check out this video right here on the best countries in the world for crypto investors, crypto millionaires, so that you can enjoy 2024, 2025, 2026 with your crypto and your gains. Check them out right here.